Alrighty. Is everyone back from the bathroom?
Well, yeah.
Oh, here she comes. So yes, I'm a mama of 4. I'm here to present this beautiful share guide, which I absolutely adore because it's all about the action steps to take. So you've gone through the build guide with your potential builder or somebody that's really, really super excited to build the business. But you can also use this guide to go through with the people that just simply want to get their oils paid for. So again, it's duplicable. You can use this guide multiple times from people that want to do different things and meeting people where they're at. That's really important with this business. It's all about relationship building, community building, and so meeting people where they're at is really important. Like we've said, the majority of people are your customers in this business. Those customers, if you nurture them and love them hard, they will eventually want to share for you and for themselves. And then they can step into that building role. I've been doing this business for 3 years now, just on 3 years. And I have had a lot of customers in the last year go, yeah, okay, I'm ready for a workshop because I love these oils and they're helping me. I want them to help my family. I want them to help my friends. And then they've stepped into the build role, big role, because they're seeing that fast start come in and they're like, I want more of that, you know, and you walk through the steps with them. Now that we have these guides, walking through those paces is so much easier. And then they can do it for people in their team that want to take the same steps. There is no magic bullet when it comes to working a doTERRA business. Like Margie said, you've got to do the work, figure out what hours you can devote to your business, and then work towards building a business using those hours really, really effectively. Yes, I'm a mum of 4. I'm a single mum of 4. That's been my gig for about 7 years now. This has been my business for 3 of those years. And it is amazing what you can fit into your day if you are focused and if you set an intention for your day. Every single day, wake up with an intention. I talk like, you know, this has been my thing my whole life. I am the world's biggest procrastinator, you know, really, really bad at it. I hate public speaking. I am shaking so badly right now. It's all about staying focused, setting your intentions and working through your blocks every single day. In this business, you will need to step out of your comfort zone. Every single day, use your oils, put balance on, put peppermint on to help you keep focused. And then do these really simple tasks. They are really, really simple, right? Sharing comes naturally. It will come naturally if you use the oils and love the oils yourself. Get yourself into a daily protocol and go for it. If you're using lavender and easy air every single night in your diffuser because it's getting your kids to sleep, it is so easy for me to share that onto other people because it works, right? So if the sharing side of things isn't coming easily to you, love your oils harder. Get into a daily protocol and work out what's working for you. Because if you feel comfortable with the product, you'll feel comfortable in offering the sample to somebody that you can see needs it. It'll be really, really simple. Why share doTERRA? Empower others, huge. We wanted other people to feel as awesome as what we do, whether it's in the business or just using the oils. You can earn rewards, you can create an income. Margie went through all of that. Really awesome reasons why to share doTERRA. But again, remember, this is for builders and for people that just want to share the oils to get their oils paid for, to have that workshop every now and then for you. And also to refer people to you. So if they just want to get their oils paid for, they don't have to wait to have a class. They can say, hey, such and such is really interested. Can you talk to them? And like Margie said, if you don't have someone in your business that wants to build and do all those wellness consults and things, it's up to us to say, yep, I can do that. But bring that person into the process as well. Don't just do it all on your own. You want to create that pipes that Maggie touched on. You want to be able to show them how easy it is to do this business, to share the oils and to offer support. But again, like Margie said, we've got Facebook groups. There's so many support networks out there. And then you've got your own team to help support them as well. So the first page of this, it says host a class or one-on-ones. And again, we've got a list. I don't know if there's a, yeah, there we go. So the list, there's always a list to fill out. This is the list that you can ask the person who wants to share or build of people who are in their lives who they want to get to their class or their one-on-ones. But let's focus on the class. We want them, I wasted 4 months. Maggie's laughing because she was like, come on, rip off that Band-Aid and have that first class. 4 months. I wasted 4 months. Same? Yeah, 4 months. Had my first class. Maggie was doing Diamond Club. I sat there. I had 12 people there, freaking out, absolutely freaking out. Didn't get up, didn't say a word. Realised that that is where it's at. The classes is where it's at. Yes, there's a lot of online stuff going on, but again, that's going, I don't know, like full circle in a way. People are wanting that face-to-face. They want that relationship. That's how we build our oil communities, our teams, our businesses. So get them to write the list out. And some people, who's building the business and have heard people say, I don't know enough people to get to a class. Oh, always. We can really sympathise with those people, right? Don't roll your eyes at them. Go, yeah, I was there. Get them to write this list. Get them to write a list and then invite at least 12 and beyond people to that class, because you're only really going to get 4 to 6 at any one time, right? And reassure them that it's not a matter of getting bums on seats. An ideal class is 4 to 6. If you have 20 people show up, awesome, but you're not going to be able to build that relationship with those 20 people sitting in that room. So if it's only 4 and 6, that is awesome. That's a successful class. If they only get 1 or 2, hello, one-on-one. It's okay. I have had classes. I had one 2 weeks ago where I had 8 people confirmed 2 days before, because I went through these steps, and I had 8 people bow out that morning for sick kids, car broke down, whatever. Okay, my house was clean and I had snacks in the fridge for when the kids came home. It's all good. It's all good. All right, so they've written out their list of who they want to invite. 3 steps to invite. I love this. This is a no-brainer for the people that are having their first class. Step 1, share an experience. Are you open to trying essential oils? Don't be afraid. Step outside of your comfort zone. If you're talking to a friend, start with your friends and family. If you're talking to them and they're complaining that they've had an awful night's sleep, or their kids are not asleep, or they're stressed, or whatever it is, just say, hey, I've got something that really helps me. Do you want to have a go? Do you want to try it? And you whip out your sample of, I've got one in my bag, you whip out your sample of Balance. It's always a favourite of mine. And you say, have a go at this, try this. You don't have to be this amazing professional, you know, with all the right words. You just say, hey, do you want to have a go? Try this. Give me your email address so that I can send you an email with the information on how to share, how to use your sample effectively and safely. Because I know if I'm talking to someone and they're giving me instructions, it goes one in one ear and out the other. We've got kids, we've got other things on our mind. Make it a no-brainer for them, step by step when they get home, how to use their sample of Balance. Super, super, it's simple, easy, and you've got that, well, your sharer or your builder has that email address ready to go for them to be able to follow up with. That is a huge, huge point to note, is that if you share a sample and you don't follow up, that is just such a waste of that energy that you put into that sharing of the sample. It's ridiculous. Don't waste your time if you're not going to follow up. That'll come. Share the experience. So, and tell them why Balance works for you. Tell them why Thank you. Tell them why the balance works for you. Share with them your experience after you have asked them how they're going, you know, like, why are you feeling stressed? Why are you feeling overwhelmed? You know, why are the kids not sleeping? What do you need help with? Ask them the question and then listen. And then you can share your experience, your personal experience, because it's like a bit of empathy going back to them. I know how you feel. I've got 4 kids, some of them don't sleep. I feel totally overwhelmed most of the time. Lavender, balance. I'll check in with you tomorrow and see how you went with the sample. That's the follow-up. Make sure you follow up the next day. You're not hassling them. You're not hard selling them. You're focusing on them. You're making sure you're owning up to your promise of, I will get back to you. I will check in with you to see how you're using that sample. These sample vials are tiny. Someone in the car park at school chucks it in her bag. She's probably not going to pull it out. She's probably going to forget about it. I know I would, you know, busy. So sending them an email that night, hey, just a little reminder tonight before you go to bed, before you get the kids in bed, without that lavender and balance, here's how you use it. And then the next day, send them a really short email or a short text. How'd you go? How was your night? You know, you don't have to be this suit-wearing professional. Just be you. Just be you when you're doing all of this. Then we get to step 2, invite. So you've shared the sample. Now you're going to invite them to a class. Hey, do you want to know more about this? I've got a class booked for next week. Even if you don't, create the class in your head. I've done that a lot. Yeah, I've done that a lot. If they're too busy to come to a class or they're intimidated, you know I was in the beginning. If they're too intimidated to come to a class, that's okay. Let's catch up for a cuppa. Let's have a one-on-one. Come to my little house. I can come to you, or we can meet up at a coffee shop or whatever. I've done one-on-ones in car parks, school car parks. You'd be amazed at where I've done one-on-ones, and that's utilising my time. Whenever I've been able to work, I work, you know, making that time effective. So inviting. You've shared the experience, shared the samples. Now you're going to invite them to a class. Invite to a presentation via a live or online class or one-on-one with your upline. Be personal with the invites. Be really personal with the invites. Do not make a Facebook event and then invite everybody on your Facebook page or all of your friends. That's just like, nah. I am guilty of receiving those invites and not even opening them. Create the Facebook event as a means where you can communicate to the people who are coming to your class. That's groovy. But when you want to get people to your class, make it personal. There's lots of examples here of the text that you can use, the wording that you can use. Definitely make it personal. It does take time. Yeah, it's really easy to make a Facebook event and hit send. It's worth the time. And if you're really invested in this business, you'll do it. It's worth it. Then you've got to remind them to come. I appreciate a reminder when I'm coming to events, and I appreciate the personal reminder, a text, you know. Maybe not a phone call. I find that's a little bit too much in my personal space, but definitely a text or an email or a personal message on Facebook or what have you. I find that really helpful. And like the example, I'm so excited to see you. You're going to love learning about some great ways to incorporate the oils into your daily life. Or I love this excuse because I actually use this. I live on a very busy road. So I use this excuse to actually reach out to the people that are coming and say, hey, I live on a really busy road. There's parking around the corner. You know, it's another excuse to reach out. Down the bottom there, you'll see that there's an opportunity or an example to share the business. Don't shy away from that. Mention it to them, put the feelers out. When people are just starting out, this is enough to overwhelm anybody sometimes, so just step them through those steps. If they feel confident in the very beginning to share the fact that they're having a class and then to also share with the people that they're sharing samples with about the business, awesome. But in the beginning, with your new sharer or your new builder, just stick to these top ones. Meet them where they're at. If they want to do the business, you give them all the information that they need. But in the beginning, if they're just unsure about starting, meet them where they're at and just give them the information that they need without overwhelming them. Okay, share anytime, anywhere. If you are a time poor like myself, you will love this aspect of the business. You can literally share anytime and anywhere. There is absolutely no excuse. I went to the Telstra store last week. I shared with my Telstra guy. I went to the Apple store. I had a big tech week last week. I went to the Apple store and I shared with my Apple guy. You know, anywhere. You start having conversations with people, there will be an opportunity to share. Or even just to drop the name doTERRA Essential Oils. What do you do? I sell essential oils. I have an essential oil business. You know, sharing what you do opens up the opportunity to have that conversation. Share your story. Share an experience with the oils, share a sample, share online. When and where to share, the best way to help others want to learn more about essential oils is by sharing your experiences. It's really important to share, but it's also important to ask questions. Ask them, what are they wanting to know more of? What are they wanting to know less of? And listen. Get your people really early on to listen. That's how they will develop relationships with people. That's how you will develop, they will develop, and you will develop your community. Always carry your samples with you. I do have mine in my bag. And you can get these from Aroma Tools, right? Little sample vials, a pack of 144 for about $50. Yeah, yeah. And then, like Margie said, in order to get your commission, you're going to need to put in 100 PV LRP. My 100 PV LRP is so incredibly boring. It's lavender, peppermint, lemon, balance, wild orange, possibly an On Guard, possibly an Easy Air, and the LLV, Lifelong Vitality, which you all should be put on. And that is my LRP. They are the oils that I share on a daily basis. I should mention, when you share oils, pop them in the post as well. You don't just have to do the physical face-to-face sharing. You can reach out to people outside your local area, pop them in the post and share that way, but make sure you follow up with those people. That's where follow-up is super duper important when you're sharing oils with people not in your local area. But keep your samples really simple. Lavender, lemon, peppermint, wild orange, and balance. They're really broad spectrum oils that your sharer and builder can use, and they're very cost effective. They're in the lower range of the price list. You don't want to be sharing frankincense and sandalwood. No, of course they're going to take those oils. There's sample ideas of how you can carry samples around. Those keychains are awesome. Take out the 2 ml little sample vials and put some 1 ml in there though. Yeah, and carry those around with you all the time. That's sourcetoyou.com. That's an awesome website to go and visit. Sampling success, sampling tips, personalised samples to meet their specific queries. This is when you've asked and you have listened. Okay, so if someone's talking about sleep and overwhelm, lavender and lavender and balance, awesome. If someone's wanting something to wake them up on their shift work drive, peppermint's awesome, probably not lavender. So listen to what they want. Provide instructions that will come in that email. You're going to grab that email address from them and provide those instructions to them via email. People are going to lose paper. You know, if they've got the email there, it's always there for them. And if they lose it, you can resend it easily. Ask permission to follow up. So, you know, when you've shared the sample. Is it okay if I give you a buzz in 2 days' time? I always say, hey, I'll give you a call. I'll send you a text, a reminder tomorrow, and see how you went with the samples. Just keep it like loose and friendly for you.
You used to share your samples straight or do you dilute it?
I share my lemon undiluted because I say pop some in your water. I share peppermint undiluted. However, if it's for a child, then I'll make sure, again, ask the questions. I always dilute On Guard because I actually get a bit of a skin irritation from On Guard myself because of the cinnamon and the cloves, so I always dilute that. And typically you want someone to put On Guard on their body in order to get the benefits. But yeah, that's pretty much, and Balance is already diluted, yeah. And most of the peppermint's quite cooling on the skin, so again, ask them if they're going to use it on a child, then yeah, dilute. But if I'm out and about and I've got my samples already and they're not diluted, I just let that person know. This is not diluted, so be careful, you know, if using with your kids. Yeah. But again, ask questions, and then if you've got time to dilute and specifically give those samples, prepare those samples for that person, do that, definitely. Support their experience. Invite to learn more at a class. So if they've had a positive experience, awesome. Invite that person to share that positive experience at your class. If they've had a negative experience or a no result, that's not a no. That's not a, I don't like these oils, never see me again, never talk to me about them again. We all know, those of us who are using the oils and passionately loving the oils, we know there's alternatives. So if lavender's not working, add some frankincense or maybe try lavender peace. You know, give them alternatives because there is something for everybody. There is literally an oil for everyone and everything. So don't shy away from the negative experience or the no result. And if they didn't try the sample, that's okay. Have a laugh. Oh, I'm a busy mum too, I get it. You know, whip that lavender out tonight and you know, see how you go, and I'll follow up with you tomorrow. Encourage, again, share your story. People love stories, personal stories. That's what we relate to. When someone's sharing their story, we're always taught at the beginning of the class to say, hi, I'm Jodie York. The reason why I use doTERRA is blah. And you go into that. And so many people, I use it because of immune system. You know, 3 years ago, my immune system was shot. I was feeling tired. I was feeling overwhelmed. And I see people even tonight going, you know, people relate to that. So share your experience. Not too much though. Don't talk about yourself too much because it is about them. It is about them. I keep forgetting you're doing that. Thank you. All right. Encourage the people, your person who is having your workshop, sharing the oils, to share their positive experiences and, you know, get them to share with people how those oils have changed their lives. It's always great to have the testimonial there from your host. So host presentations, invite your friends to a product or business presentation. Choose the format that is right for them. So they might, in the beginning, be totally overwhelmed by a class. Encourage them to have that class, but to ease them in, they can have the one-on-ones. I've got a lady in my business just starting out. She is absolutely terrified of the class. I can relate. So I said, start with the one-on-ones. She hit elite in 2 months based on one-on-ones. You know, amazing. And you should see her wellness consult because that one-on-one scenario just works with her. So she's doing beautifully. The preparation for the classes, really, really important. You've got to really, when someone hasn't had a class before, I've had this a few times, they've sent out the invitations with something like, you will not be obligated to buy anything when you come to the class. You will not be sold anything. You won't be, you know, you don't have to buy anything. It's not about that, you know. We're a little bit different to other MLM companies. We're a product-based company. We're customer service based, a customer based company. It's about our customers. So once the people are in the class, they'll see that, they'll get a sense of that. But if your host, your sharer, your builder sends out invites with that little tagline down the bottom, that kind of sets the wrong tone. So let your host know what to say and what not to say. You know, sometimes less is more. For the first one, help them out with the wording. It's pretty beneficial. So they can have a class live or online. I fully recommend live, in person. Online is great, but not as great as the in-person classes. Online down the track. Preparation, it gives a little list of days. Any day is a good day to have a workshop, any day. You know, weekends are great. I find that Sunday afternoons are great, not so much a Saturday because there tends to be a lot of sport and things like that. But your focus group will be different, you know. It might not be mums with kids, it might be guys, it might be who knows, you know. But your host or your sharer or your builder, they will know those people. Remember the list that they were writing, it's mainly going to be full of family and friends, so they'll know what suits their people most. Invite 12 people. This is really important. Over-invite. Invite 12 people for an ideal class size of 4 to 6. And seriously, that is ideal, especially in the beginning. It cuts out the overwhelm. 4 to 6 is ideal. Not everyone you invite will be able to make it. That's okay. Keep them on your list and invite them to the next one, or reach out to them and say, hey, let's have a cuppa, let's have a one-on-one. Ideal timeline, this is awesome. Is there a separate slide for that one? Yeah, this is really awesome. This is like a visual checklist. I've actually used this share guide twice in the last week, so it works. It does, it works. And yeah, this timeline's ideal. Absolutely ideal. You do not want to invite people to a class days before the class is about to be held. You want to give it 2 weeks. Really no longer than that, because it's kind of a little bit too far down the track for people, I find. I've thought I'd be smart and organise a class a month in advance. People forget, you know. And if you're someone that's having regular classes, you know, awesome. So your part in a presentation. So this is really important. So you've seen this afternoon how Renee and Margie have edified the next presenter, you know, talk them up a bit. Get your host to do the same for you, or you do the same for the person hosting or presenting the class. You know, talk them up a bit, you know, let them know that this is going to be an exciting class because of such and such and the information that they're going to receive. And then really this first class, you're going to really take your sharer / builder through how to do the class, whether they present it with you or you co-present, or they just watch and learn from you. That's awesome too. But get them presenting as soon as possible. She forced me into standing up in the second class. It was so terrifying. It was so terrifying, but the Band-Aid had been ripped off. And now I love classes. I actually really, really enjoy the classes. Get them involved in the class, especially towards the end. If you have 4 to 6 people there, you can't be with 4 to 6 people. Get them helping with the Modern Essentials book. Open it up, go and get them to help ask questions. What do they need? It's okay not to know. We're not health gurus, you know. I still have moments where I say, I don't know, let's find out together, like Jill was saying. We want to empower these people. We also want to empower our host. We also want to empower our sharers and our builders to find the answers as well. Life can get pretty busy if you're the only one that holds the information. It's ridiculous. That's the pipes that they talk about, creating that pipeline. The follow-up to support. So whether it's a one-on-one, whether you've shared samples, whether you've had workshops, it's so important to follow up with every single person that came to the class and every single person that didn't come to the class. Follow up with them and say, hey, how you going? We've got another class coming. Do you want to have a one-on-one? People that came to the class, the wellness consult. Follow up is so important. Change more lives. Let them know, let your sharers and builders know about the Fast Start bonus, because that will help cover their costs. The overheads of this business are really low. That is why me as a mum of four could sell a business that I had, knowing that I could financially jump into this all in, because the overheads are basically the LRP and sample bars, maybe a bit of postage. But it's very, very manageable. It's manageable because of this Fast Start and because of that 20% Fast Start, and also the Power of 3 bonus. Are there any questions? Yes, Sean. Any other questions? I always lead, up until recently, I have always led with the top 10, and I have structured my classes. So if I have a bunch of mamas coming to my class, and at the beginning of the class, I always ask everybody, you know, your top three health concerns, or what you want more of or less of. I listen to those answers. And again, if you only have 4 or 6 people to a class, that's really manageable to ask that question. So again, doesn't have to be 20 odd people, but then based on their responses, that's how I deliver a class. You know, so I'll talk about teething, I'll talk about overwhelm, I'll talk about sleep, respiratory. I recently had a class for my mum who is in her 60s, and she invited all her patchwork friends. There wasn't a lot of talk about teething. There was a lot of talk about, you know, joint, muscle pain, sleep, denture cleaning. Yeah, staying hydrated, lifelong vitality supplements, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But if you keep it to your top 10 and the nature solutions now, yeah, you can, I tend to do, you know, your varied classes like make and takes for follow-up classes, never for an intro class. Yeah, that's okay. Anyone else? No?
Oh,
yes.
so what's your follow-up strategy? So, and how do you manage that? So really keep, what do you do? What's your jam?
Very, very simple Excel spreadsheet. And it's basically name, email address, and then in the comments, it's the date and what happened. And it's not an essay, it's really point form, really, really simple. The date of when we met, samples that I shared, so important to keep a tab. You will not remember what you gave people. When you're sharing the samples, always write down as many details as you can when you get back into the car or wherever, the first chance you get, because you will not remember, and you refer to those notes when you're sending them the follow-up email. But the way I keep everything out of my head and into a record is an Excel spreadsheet. Name, contact, which is usually the email address, and then, like, I don't let anybody go. I never let anybody go unless they give me a full-on get out of here, get out of my life and never contact me again. I still have people on that Excel spreadsheet from 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I actually had the first class that Margie ever had for me when she was doing Diamond Club. We have recently just had 100% success rate on that class. With that final, we had 12 people there. The final person at that class that hadn't enrolled about 2 months ago. And I had just kept every now and then, maybe every month, every 2 months, going, hey, saw this on Lavender, thought you might like it. You know, my most recent builder, who's just amazing, she is someone that I kept in contact with and followed up for 18 months. Kept inviting her to every class I had, kept sending her information that I thought, you know, she might fancy. And eventually, when she was ready, she said yes. And if I hadn't kept following up, I wouldn't have my soon-to-be silver. So it's really, really important. Did that answer the question? It doesn't have to be complicated. You don't need these amazing systems. You need to keep them updated though. You know, no system will work if you don't keep it updated. I refer to that Excel spreadsheet every single day. And if you follow up with 2 people a day, what did we say, 14 people a week? That's a lot of people, you know, roughly 40 people a month. That's no, more than that, 60, whatever, I'm terrible at maths. But it's a lot of people per month, you know. It's the little tasks, what is it, the slight edge. It's the little simple tasks that are easy to do, but they're also easy to forget. You know, it's easy to fob it off. 2 follow-ups a day, easy to forget. I'll do 5 tomorrow, you know. Don't do it that day. And especially if you're time poor, you know, if you've only got 2 hours a day to work on your doTERRA business, start with those follow-ups and inviting people to classes. Simple tasks. Good.